So the food stamps, WIC, SNAP, all of those benefits, migrants and asylum seekers are not eligible for. So the law requires me to feed them 3 meals a day.
Right.
Requires.
Right.
What we were doing is buying the food from these large conglomerates. And
buying food that they didn't want.
Right.
Okay.
And 10% of the food they were not eating. Wasting, being discarded. So my first deputy mayor and her team, they came up with this card called a MOCA-FI card, a black-owned company, where you give them a card where they are given $13 a day to eat, and they go to the local bodegas and supermarkets.
Put the money back in them.
There you go. Put the money back into the community, buying what you want. You can't buy anything other than food and baby supplies. So we saved $600,000 a month, $7 million a year. But people wanted to blow it up and say, "Hey, you giving them a credit card?" They knew that was all bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's how the management skills that the team, what we have been doing. And so what the governor did, he wanted to destabilize our city, but we managed it better than anyone can even thought we was going to manage. 180,000 people showing up at your doorstep, can't work, can't provide for themselves. 30,000 children we had to put in our educational system, doing it without a problem. Not one child or family sleeping on the streets.
Which governor was this? The state governor?
The governor of Texas, Governor Abbott. You know,
that's what sent them there.
Right.
Would you say it's racially motivated versus partisan motivated?
Great question. Great. I think it's a combination. It's a combination. I think that he wanted to send a signal to the national government because they need to fix the problem. Let me be clear on that. They need to fix the problem.
Right.
But there were a hell of a lot of other cities he could have sent them to.
Right.
Why are you picking the cities?
Right.
They didn't even send them to Los Angeles.
Wisconsin? Could have sent them to Wisconsin.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't even send them to Los Angeles until Mayor Bass became mayor. They didn't even send him to Philadelphia until the sister became the mayor. The day she swore in, a plane landed with migrants and asylum seekers. So he wanted to send a message, but the message he wanted to send was on the back of black and brown mayors.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
And I've been saying that from the beginning. You know, I've been saying that this is politics, and they supposed to do that. You know, they want certain laws to be passed. They want to change the immigration policies, and why not focus on the other party? But when you said the racial part, I didn't even add that part.
Right.
So. For me, I understand that you get so much scrutiny. Like being a black man, being unapologetically hip hop, being, coming into our communities, building with the hip hop community, being outside, as we say a lot. And I never want to add to that. I think for me, when we voted and we seen you come into office, that's what we said to ourselves, one of us. It's like, the inmates got the building now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was the mind state. And I think for me, I wanted to see a radical shift, right? I wanted to see things change, right? I wanted you to take chances and say, okay, we need to change this now.
Right.
Unfortunately, people say a lot about Trump, but Trump don't give a damn about what you say. He's going in there and his base said, this is what we want, that's what y'all want. And he's going to dismantle whatever it takes to get that.
And I love that.
And that's what people respect.
That's hip hop.
That's what hip hop is for me. So when I look at New York, right, and I say, there has been $9 billion in the police department. And every other education, housing is being cut. I say to myself, that's not what I thought radical change looked like.
Right.
I thought when we said that, we were going to give more resources to the communities. We were going to give the kids better opportunities. We're going to have programs. When we taking away the after-school programs, when we taking away the early education programs, when we taking away those things that are needed for our kids to flourish and stay out of prisons, then what are we really saying? And so I think that's what it is for me. They say when you want to know what someone is invested in, see where they spend their money.
No, without a doubt. And this is so important because you have to peel back the distortion and the radical change you were talking about. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
We have invested built more affordable housing in 1 year than the history of the city. Our young people have been crying for years for summer youth employment. We had put in place 100,000 summer youth employment, more than the history of the city. We put in place something called Summer Rising, all school long for our young people because there was a real loss after COVID. We put more people in those programs in the history of the city. So the radical change, the money that we invested to MWBEs, billions of dollars in black and brown owned business, they were only getting 2%. We came in and put in place my chief diversity officer, Mike Gardner, and we're putting money back into black and brown business and entrepreneurs with our procurement purchases. So the radical changes are right there. Like even foster care children, we knew our foster care children aged out at 18, and we knew that they were either homeless, in jail, victim of a crime, mental health issues. We're now allowing our foster care children to have life coaches until they're 21, paying their college tuition with a stipend, and we have the highest number of foster care children that enrolled in college because of what we've doing in the history of the city. There's a whole lot of radical changes coming about, but you're not going to read it if all they try to put out is that we saw Eric last night at the club.
But I don't think for me it's reading it. It's just me being in the community, doing the work that I do on the ground. I know that the community centers are closed. I know that the after school programs are closed. I know that those things have been taken up. I literally see that. I know these kids are on the corners that want to be able to go to play basketball, that want to be able to go to the shop class, that want to be able to go to a music program after school. And those programs have been closed because I'm in the schools every day and I'm talking to the teachers and they say we don't have the budget for those things. Those things have been taken up.
Let me share this with you because this is why this is so crucial. What the former mayor did, he put in place a lot of permanent programs using COVID stimulus dollars that sunsetted in 2024. Some sunsetted in 23, then sunsetted in 24. So what we had to do is he knew that, listen, I'm not going to be here, and I know these dollars are going to sunset. We had to find money to keep those programs going. We kept 3K and pre-K, although the dollars went away. We kept Summer Rising, although the dollars went away. We kept the midnight basketball going on. We put money back into those programs with a $4 billion price tag that came from the migrants and asylum seekers. That money, I got to balance my budget by law.
But the money has been cut. The budget has literally been cut. You're telling me that you put more money into it, but the budget has been cut. This is the numbers are saying that the budgets are cut for school, for after school programs. The money is not there. So when we're having this conversation, I hear what you're saying, but it's not funneling into the hoods that we come from. When you're saying that we're going to put more police on the grounds, but we're taking away resources that these kids actually need so they don't go to jail, then what are we saying that we're investing in? We're investing in them to go to jail, or are we trying to stop them from going to jail? Because if we don't have the resources to stop them from going to jail, I heard you talking about the prisons, that you took the programs out of prisons. I'm formerly incarcerated. I know how a lot of those programs helped us. I know how a lot of those programs kept us out of trouble inside the prison. I know how a lot of those programs prepared us to come home from prison. Actually, those programs should be outside. They should morph into programs that we have extend into programs that come outside. So when we're taking away those programs and you saying that people are making money or trying to get rich off of the poverty of the community, but we put in more police. Aren't the police making money off of it? If we put more police in the train station, we put more police in our communities, and a lot of these police are not even community-based officers. They're not culturally competent to be in our communities.
Well, go back for a moment, brother, because I think that it's so important, and what we should do, you should come in and see what we're doing with my DYCD, you know, because
y'all met each other that night too,
well,
right?
me and the mayor were supposed to have a meeting months ago, probably last year, and it just never happened. But, you know, I know you busy going through a lot of stuff.
Busy? I'm busy on steroids.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm always open for a meeting because
I'm busy on steroids, brother. Who would have thought when I got in office January 2022, I was gonna have 100,000 people showing up. Imagine having 70 people come to your house and all of a sudden say, you gotta take care of me. You gotta take care of my food, my clothing, my medical needs. Man, this was dropped into my lap. And with dropping that into my lap, it came with a $4 billion price tag.
I get it. But there's still our young kids are dying and going to jail at
without a
high
doubt,
rates,
brother.
especially young black. So that's what I'm saying. As a black man, that's supposed to be a priority to me. I don't care what position I
agree
get
100%,
in
brother.
life anywhere. This is why I do boycott black murder. This is why I focus on young black males, because I understand that we are dropping out of schools at the highest rates, we're dying at the highest rates, and we're being incarcerated at the highest rates. So if we're not truly focusing on how do we redirect, because if we're saying that we putting more money into prisons and we got more police officers on the community, and the police officers that come in the community are sometimes agitating, because most of them don't come in to stop the violence.
But it has to be multifaceted.
Exactly.
It has to be multifaceted. I like to say it has to be intervention and prevention.
That's a fact.
And you're aware we put more money in our crisis management team with A.T. Mitchell, Man Up, SOS. We put more money into that than anyone has done before, going on the ground and meeting these young people where it is. And look at the numbers in Brownsville. No one was able to turn around
Shout out to A.T. A.T. is my brother. So, you know, I work with A.T. on a daily basis. But what I'm trying to say, there's no functionable plan for prevention in our community. There's no, like, shout out, let me just
Let's make it up then, goddamn.
So that's what I'm saying.
Put it together,
That's what I want to do. You know, shout out to Ross J. Barack in Newark. Like, he has a motto for violence prevention.
Who's that?
He's the black man in Newark.
He's the man.
That's not
Still
my man.
Still going through some,
No, not Lords of the Underground.
Roz Barack, his dad was Roz Barack also. And Roz is my dude. And still going through some issues in Newark also. All of these cities are going through issues.
But I'm trying to say there's an intentional, he has funded the community. Like, we don't want to say, everybody hates to say to defund the police because that doesn't, the verbiage doesn't sound right. But we want to refund the community, right? Because there are community people who, if you invest the dollars in the community, then you see the change. And I've been working in Newark with Ross J. Barack on those things, so I know what can happen. I just think that when you know, there's been a lot of instances, a few instances where you stand by police that I think there should be some level of, that's not okay.
No, I stand by public safety. That's a difference between standing by police and standing by public safety. When you go into our communities, I do a bunch of town halls in our community. You know, when I speak in my communities, those communities that you're talking about, Harlem or what have you, they tell me their needs. I respond to the needs. It's not what I want to respond to. What are the needs you want in your community? And so when you say there's not a master plan, I think first we should sit down and look at my plan. Look at what we're doing with foster care children. Look at what we're doing in summer youth employment. Look at what we're doing. 30 to 40% of the inmates at Rikers Island are dyslexic. I have a dyslexic screening. We have to be prevention and not just intervention. And so I think that before we say, okay, there's no plan, look at my plan. Because you're not gonna learn my plan by hearing what people are saying. You're gonna learn my plan and look at exactly what we're doing. Something as simple as we dropped the cost of childcare for parents. That's what was preventing our mothers from going back to work. We dropped it from $55 a week to less than $5 a week. We're leaning into maternal morbidity. No one has focused on this. Black women are dying at a rate that's disproportionate to maternal morbidity. Funding those crisis management teams.